We've been absent the last couple of weeks. We had Thanksgiving, and hope you all had a blessed Thanksgiving and enjoyed time with family and friends. And then we went to, we were out of the country actually last week, so I'm going to share a little bit about that. But we are back this week. We've got a great segment for you, and I'm waiting for Jana Uselton to join me in the studio here. So before we get going with our topic for today, I did want to make some announcements. So of course, hopefully you all remember our new hashtag for the week, Stager Wednesday, and hashtag Raise the Standard. So thanks again to Andrea Faber for that great idea. And so if you're out about today's staging and want to share a picture on social media, make sure to use the hashtag Stager Wednesday, Hump Week, and raise the standard. So make sure to do that. We like to keep track of that. It's kind of fun to see everybody posting. All right, we have our conferences, of course, we're going to promote, coming up. And those are, of course, our theme for this year for the conferences is Vision for Success, 2020 Vision. And I learned something funny. In Europe, 2020, they don't know what 2020 Vision is. So that theme really doesn't mean anything to them. However, the good news is that 00 is perfect vision for them. So the zeros in the 2020 actually apply for overseas as well. So sort of dumb luck that one. But that's our theme, Vision for Success, Focus, Clarity, and Future. And those are really great words to remind ourselves about all year long. So as we're going to turn the corner into the new year, goal setting, you're going to hear a lot of business planning. We have some really great things planned as far as education that we'll be taking around the country to help advance business owners' success. So our conference, though, first one, of course, is going to be in Portugal, and that is hosted by IHOSP Europe. Tickets are on sale right now. You can go to ihospeurope.com. IHOSP, good morning, everybody. ihospeurope.com, and I'm going to go ahead and type that in here while I can. Oops, let's see, ihospeurope.com. Okay, and you can get tickets for that. And so it's a one-day conference, and again, the topics will be focused around our theme. The second day will be an optional session where people will earn the communication and consultation specialist designation. So people who want to learn about how to do consultations, in-home consultations for occupied, remodeling, whatever, we'll be teaching that on the second day, and you'll earn credentials for that. So Portugal is going to be beautiful. Look how amazingly beautiful that is. May 23rd is the conference. May 24th would be the consultation and communication designation course. And then we're just going to have some fun over in Europe and another beautiful part of the world. Then, of course, Denver. Our conference, our international conference, is September 25th, 26th, and 27th, right here in Denver. So it starts on Friday this year, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday afternoon, we'll kick off with the registration, our amazing expo. And nobody does an expo or an event like we do as far as pulling all the vendors in together and putting on this wonderful celebration of our industry. Plus, there's a lot of learning. So if you go to our website, this one will be ihospconexpo.com. So I'll go ahead and put this up here. Conexpo. Can't type this morning. ihospconexpo.com. You can still get early bird tickets. Those will be on sale all the way through December, and then the prices will be going up. And so you want to lock in your priority seating and your lower rate ticket. And so we're going to have education on Friday and Saturday. And of course, our advanced stager training session will again follow the conference like we've done the last couple of years, the 28th and 29th right here in Denver. And the place we're holding the event, of course, is beautiful. It's the Rockies Gaylord, which is the newest hotel in the Gaylord chain. And here's just a glimpse inside. There's a big lodge feel, and in celebration of Colorado. So they have a lot of American Indian motif through there, a lot of wood, big beams, and this glass window here, spectacular sunset out that window in this photograph. But I think it's about 9 stories tall, and it's reinforced glass with steel because that part of where it's located gets buffeted by wind. So they reinforced it, and then they also bought the air rights so nobody can ever build and block this view of the Rockies. So it's a beautiful hotel. It's right by the airport, really easy to get to, no big journey, and it's going to be a really, really fabulous time. We're going to be going this weekend for another site tour and to meet with our planners. So we're very excited about what we're bringing to you. And we won't be doing a call for speakers yet until probably January. So we have our leadership planning team meeting in January, and at that point we'll identify specific topics we're looking for and then put out the call to speakers. So rather than have people submit things they want to share on, we're going to tell you what we want to hear about, and then you'll be able to submit your presentation outline and so forth, and then we'll decide who will be able to present these topics. So we got a lot of great feedback from those of you that turned in your surveys, so thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. And from that, a lot of the topics people want to hear about, and so we're going to be kind of catering it towards, again, beginner, intermediate, and advanced sessions, but make sure the topics are delved into so you learn not only what to do, but how to do it. So I think that's really important. And of course, we give a lot of time to our speakers to share, so we'll make sure that they're really giving you the meat and potatoes, not just the topping. All right, I'm excited for that. One of the things I wanted to share with the Europe conference, they're doing their first European awards. They call it the European Home Staging Oscars. So Sonia and Verena are very excited to do that. And that's why these people that are part of our association were not recognized in Nashville, is because we knew they were going to be getting awards for European conference. And so those are, I think, being submitted now, or in January, people can submit their categories for the awards, there's submittals. So that'll be very exciting to have the first awards in Europe for our European IHOSP Europe members. So keep an eye out for that if you're over in Europe and you're going to be attending the conference. Speaking of Europe, that's where I was last week with John. We went to Vienna, and there was a meeting on Monday the 2nd. And so with all the different association leaders in Europe that joined us. And so, those of us that are here in the US or even in Canada, we sort of think it's just this North American thing, but, staging is global. And I don't know if you know, but we're in 5 different continents, 18 different countries as far as IHOSP. So we have Europe, we also have South Africa, Australia, Latin America, and we have other people coming on that would like to join our association. And so it was very important for us to meet together and be there in person. John and I wanted to definitely be there to show our support and to hear what they're doing with their various associations, how they've grown, and what their plans are for 2020. So it was a long day. It was a very productive day. And I want to thank Barbara Perfall from Austria for finding the location and being such a great hostess. What a beautiful location. Of course, this time of year, all the Christmas markets, we were able to see a few of those, and just, do a whirlwind tour of Vienna, and did a little peek of Salzburg as well, and didn't have enough time. So such a beautiful area of the world. We should all be really proud about what the different association leaders are doing around the country as far as education, around the world, for education, and also aligning themselves, interested in what we're doing as far as what we're going to talk about today with industry standards. And so they're watching what we're doing here, because what we do here will definitely impact what they're doing there. And so courses are being developed for staging. We're going to be putting one in France, which will be very exciting. So Frankie Bousseau, who's our regional director there, and Hayden Yates are going to be working on translation of our course. And then Verena Mumford, who speaks French, plus a bunch of other languages. She'll be teaching there. We have classes coming up in January in London. So those of you that are overseas and want to take a class, we have a live class. Sonia Radovinovich and Verena Mumford will be teaching in London in January. So get registered for that. It's a great course. It's 2 days. It's the staging business course. Sets you up for great success. And included in that class is your membership in the Home Staging Association for the UK that Paloma Harrington Griffin runs. And she's amazing. Does wonderful work for the staging members in the UK. Plus, you'll also get a year of membership in the IHOSP Europe Association, and you're also a member of IHOSP International. So you get 3 associations as part of this tuition, which is a really fabulous deal, because that's like a $500 or $600 value included in your course tuition. So if you're in London, get registered, and then we're also coming to Ireland and Scotland within the first quarter. So that information is on our site. You can also find it on IHOSP Europe's site, and we're just very excited to be bringing education to Europe, and it's a fabulous course, sets you up for great success. Where in London? So Jennifer's asking. I'm not sure the location. I think it's, I could get that for you. I don't have it memorized. We do have a location. I just don't have it memorized in my head, but I can get to you Hey, Sacramento class, Kevin. Good morning, everybody. So there's students that are taking class in Sacramento, where I used to live, in Roseville, my old stomping grounds. And so good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, Jill. Hi, Maria. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hey, if you're watching and you can share this segment on your social media, go ahead and please do that. That helps us reach as many people as possible. We appreciate the exposure. So anyhow, was really, really excited to be overseas. We'll be going again back in May and make some great memories. And here's all the leaders that joined us. And so we had Spain in the front, which is Caroline Jurgens, and then Karen Stoltenberg. She's on the right, and then behind her is, let's see, Barbara Perfall from Austria, and then Brina on the left. Sonia's on the right, and then I'm in the middle. Paloma's on the left, and then behind Paloma is Catherine, who's Barbara's sister. Francesca Greco from Italy. In the very back is Petra. She represented Germany because Iris couldn't be with us. And then my husband, John, and then Frankie on the right. So what a great powerhouse group. So proud of everything that they are doing, and just want to be able to support them in their growth as the International Association. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. All right. So Jana is not in the studio, which is strange. So I know she tried calling me this morning at like an hour ago. Call is on. I sent her links through email and also Facebook, so hopefully she'll get that. So what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to get a drink of water. First of all, also be on the lookout for specials. We have some gifts for you from IHOSP. That are going to be coming out, some announcements for the holiday season, of course. So look for those, some specials that we'll be having on, we don't know, it could be membership, it could be education, it could be the conference. You just never know what we're going to be throwing out to you. So we want to just send you some gifts before the end of the year. And so take advantage of those. Those will come out via email and also social media. And I just want to make sure everybody who's watching, if you're a member and you're not getting information, you know, you got to check your emails. Maybe something got blocked. We communicate through email. We communicate to you through texting. We do social media a lot. And then also we'll do phone calling. So I don't know any other way to get to you. So if you're not getting information, you need to make sure to be tapping into one of those ways so we can stay in communication, because there's a lot of valuable information we send out. And I know it seems like a lot. There's a lot of information. Everybody sends out flyers and emails and so forth. But how else are we going to communicate with you? So make sure that you are getting the information. And if for some reason you're not, you know, let us know. You may have unsubscribed from an email newsletter, or maybe your stuff is going to spam. And then, of course, the social media pages, we have something like over a dozen that we post things on. So make sure that you are looking at least one of those regularly so that you're getting the information. Okay, so let's see here. Just checking to make sure she's not in here. I'm going to see if this video will play while we are waiting for Jana. I don't know how to get it to play. There should be like an automatic play. Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can get it to play here. Oh. Is it sound? Can you guys hear that? Because I don't have any sound on my end. Okay. Let me know if it's playing. Looks like it's awkward. There we go. It's trying. It is trying. Morning, Keely. All right, here we go. Oh, it's very dramatic music. Let me back it up again. Buffering. I've only tried playing video once through here, so I'll start it again. All right, stager. It's trying. Well, it's trying to go. Maybe it's the connection. Very, very dramatic music. I'll try it again. I start from the beginning. All right, let's see this. It's like backwards. All right, there it is. Final word. Okay, so that's a little video. It's just a thing about the Professional Stager and Property Marketer Organization. So it's the PSPMO. I know it's a big mouthful. Still going. All right. So here's our logo. So what is this all about? And so I'm hoping that Jana will come on because I kind of want to give a history. There's looking for the email link, but cannot find it. If you can resend. All right. Okay, hang on, Jana. All right. So hang on, you guys. I'm gonna get in my email because this is important to have her on. And I'm doing this on my phone because if I go on my computer, I'll bust out of this thing. Okay, for some reason. Oh, here we go. And that music is still going, even though I don't have it up in the thing. So it still has its own little brain going. Okay. All right, Jana, hang on. I'm going to go into, let's see, how do I do this? Oh, so I messaged you through Facebook. So I'm going to go there and I'm going to copy Jana Uselton. Let's see if I did in this message. Session expired. Please log again. Okay. I'm trying. So we want to get Jana on. Not now. Okay. Okay, here we are. Okay, so let's see here. Jana, if you went into your Facebook profile, you'd see it, but I'll email it to you again as well. Because I know I sent it to you last night. You have like 4 emails, so I never know which one to use. So I'm sending them to, I'm sending it to all of them. Okay. All right, paste. Okay, so I just sent it to 3 emails. So she'll be joining us. Okay, the reason I wanted to have Jana on, of course, is because there's been a lot of talk about industry standards, right? We talk about best practices and professionalism and so forth within our own businesses, within our associations and so forth. And when our association was founded, there were no standards set as far as requirements for getting into the business. You didn't have to have education. You didn't have to pass a test. There was no entry standards that were identified. And that's not to criticize, how the industry was started. It's just a fact of how it all began. So here we are 20 years later, because the industry was actually birthed in 1972 as far as a real estate service. And then stagers really got started in the late 90s. 99 was the first class that got started. So from that point forward, here we are 20 years later, and, staging is well known. There's a lot of shows that talk about it. There's articles that are written about it. And so people want to get into the industry, and then there's no pathway for them to get in the industry. There's not a guide that says these are the things you need to do. And so you have some people that have chosen to get education, and they take a class, and then they're part of an association, and they are part of chapters, and they network and learn from each other. And then there's others that just kind of go alone. And for some people, this is a hobby. It's just something they want to do on the side, make a little bit of extra money. For other people, it's a full-fledged business. And so the public who is using us, and that would be realtors, sellers, builders, investors, any of those market segments, hey, Leslie, they just don't know what to expect. They don't know who they're hiring. Business practices and so forth are all over the place. Pricing is one of the biggest challenges. People that don't have any education don't understand how to price their business services. Even some with education are not taught how to price. So everybody's guessing. And it's one of those things, well, I'll use this as an example. When I get a call from a homeowner or a realtor and they say, this just happened last week, we want you to stage our property's been on the market for 3 months, it hasn't sold. I think the property's like at 600,000. And so they only want to stage the upstairs area and then this downstairs basement that's kind of confusing for buyers because it's this big open space and et cetera. So I send a proposal off, and the realtor comes back and says, well, the seller doesn't want to, she only wants to pay half that much. And I write back and I'm like, well, how does she even know? And I'm like, just like, don't even have the words. Like, how do they even know to even say that? Because you can't just go, I only want to pay half. I'm sorry, that's not what it takes to free run my company. And so I wrote back and I said, these are the costs I incur just to get inventory furniture into your property, trucks, movers, the staging team, the items themselves that I've invested in, plus our time. And I need to make a profit. I'm not in this to, this is, who said this? This was Jill Gold, I think, posted this. I'm not a nonprofit. I don't do this as a charity. I need to make money in my business. And there's nothing wrong with us making money and making a profit. And so why is this perception out there? Why do I get other calls like, oh, my daughter moved out of her condo and now we need to stage it? And I sent a proposal off, it was like $1,500 maybe. Oh, she only wants to spend $500. I said, well, she should get her truck and her movers and get her stuff back in that place then, because that can't be done for $500. And so the expectation out there of the clients that utilize us, it's just all over the place. I know there's definitely some that see the value in working with professional stagers, and others, they just don't know. And that responsibility is really on us to educate better our users, our clients. And the fact is, there are stagers out there that would do something for $500 because they don't know better. And those that do cheapen the industry, they devalue our services, and they drive the market down. And that's not a wise business strategy. You can't stay in business long term and lose money, lose money, lose money. And I don't think anybody starts a business wanting to lose money. That would be foolish. So our goal is to establish standards that are professional standards for the industry, and then be able to provide a lot more. So let's see if Jana's in here yet. No, she's not in yet. Okay, so the Professional Stager and Property Marketer Organization. So how do we come up with that name? It went through several different iterations, and this is a survey that we'll talk about that came out. We wanted to make sure it said the word professional, because that's really what it's all about. It's separating the professionals from those that are not operating a professional staging business. I don't expect every stager in the industry to be part of this. So this is going to be it's sort of like an umbrella organization. If you notice, we didn't pick the word association. Professional stagers and property marketers. So why do we add property marketer? Well, that came out of our advanced stager training and discussions that we had, and Melissa Morrow and Jonathan Miller were tossing names around as well. We market properties. And so at our conference, we did a thing in the beginning, an opening, and we had a rhyme city. So I used the word pretty because our houses do look pretty. And Melissa, when she spoke, she goes, "We're not making them pretty, we're making them more marketable." And I, made a joke that marketable doesn't rhyme with city. So our houses do look nice, but the goal is to market the property and get it sold. So we are property marketers as stagers. Plus it opens the door for other people who are in the industry that are parallel or alongside. It could be a photographer, videographer, it could be somebody who does decorating that also does staging and so forth. So we're not closing this organization off to just professional stagers, although that is the main focus. And then it's an organization, not an association. This is not a replacement for any of the associations that are out there, and that's really important for everyone to understand. It's sort of like a United Nations umbrella for the industry, because when the industry started, as I shared, there were no standards set. And then IHOSP formed in '99. It was the only association for about 6 or 7 years. And it was closed off to people who didn't take the stagedhomes.com course. So it was only open to ASP, ASPM, and ASP real estate agents. So flash forward in the mid-2000s, I think it's like 2000, I want to say 6 or 7-ish, RESA got started, and they were open to everybody. So they formed as an association. And then about 2008 or 9, HSRA started because they saw a need for advanced education that they were not receiving from other entities. Of course, IHOSP wasn't open at that time. And so we weren't providing that to outside of our own membership. We had things we were teaching our members, but it wasn't available to everybody. So you have these 3 entities that formed by the late 2000s. They were all fully running, have memberships, do a great job. And now here we are almost to 2020. So the idea that any of these groups are going to fold and be absorbed isn't going to happen. We love our members. We all offer different things, and you don't have to belong to just one. There's lots of people that belong to all 3 or 2 out of 3, etc. So the PSPMO is not here to absorb any of the associations or to replace them. It's going to be a United Nations, sort of an umbrella over the industry. And what it will do is help educate the people that use us, the end users, about how to work with a professional. It will set professional standards for people to be part of the organization and be identified as a member. And we'll have a logo probably called ProMark that will identify you as a professional stager and property marketer person that's part of the organization. And the criteria for being part of this will be you have education that you took in order to enter the industry, that you have a foundation in education in home staging. Now, I know a lot of people watching like, oh man, I run a business and I don't have education. I don't want to have to go take a class. Well, you can possibly come in under what we call the exception rule. So IHOSP has an exception rule. IHOSP opened up to everybody in 2016. So all of a sudden IHOSP became open to the industry, but we've always had education standards. So when you go to our site, you'll see that you have to have education in the industry in order to join. And however, there's always exceptions. And I always use Margaret Gear as an exception because She's a fabulous stager out of Chicago. She never took a class. I don't know if she has a design background or not, but anyhow, we took a look at her company and the work she does and said, yes, you're running a professional company, you do great work. Yes, you can be part of IHOSP. And so I know other groups can do the same thing as far as the exception rule, but education there has to be a foundation to get into this industry. You have to learn. And, we see everybody on Facebook, and God bless everybody who's interested in home staging. We're here to support you. However, you're not going to learn how to run a business by asking a bunch of questions and posting things on Facebook. There's a lot of people who've invested in their education and their business as a professional business owner. And then there's the people that want to get that for free. And there's a point where I love helping people. I know Jana does. I know other people do. My heart is to serve people. It truly is. But there's a point where I want to tell people, you need to invest in your education. The questions you're asking, you can easily learn and have a foundation, and all your questions will be answered. Plus, you'll have a lot of ongoing resources for you. So the fact that you're not doing that makes me question your intent. Trying to glean a little bit here, glean a little bit there, and asking the people who are on these social media sites for their goodwill in order to share their pricing structure, their contracts, their agreements, and so forth. These are all available when you take a class. And there's something like, oh, hey, Jana, there's a bunch of different classes. If you go to, let's see, where are you? I don't see you. Okay, scrolling. I don't see you in the studio. I see you here. Oh, what does it say? Show on stream. Oh, you're here. Okay, that was not what I wanted to do. Hide. You're not in the studio though. So anyhow, there's a bunch of different classes people can take. You're not showing up in the broadcast studio, which is weird. So let's see here. Add a guest. How do I add a guest? Copy the link. Guest link, Jana. So she's calling on my phone here. Let's see if this will work. Hi. Video now. So yeah, there's a bunch of different classes people can take. So you're showing up in the broadcast studio, which is weird. So let's see here. So there's a delay. So this isn't going to work. I probably have to call you on my cell phone if you can't get into the studio. Okay. Not now. Sorry, guys. The Be Live broadcast. So Jenny, all you do is click on that link. Oh, the camera's not working on your okay, so I just sent the link. I don't know where it went. Okay, anyway, sorry. You gotta love Be Live. You gotta love being live on social media. So stuff happens, and we'll get her on. Anyhow, the education, there's a bunch of different courses that are approved. And so you don't have to just take one. We're not going to focus on just one class. It'll be the ones that have met the criteria. So you have to have education. The second criteria will be that you do have to be a member of an association. So we're not taking business from the association. Actually, we're encouraging people to be part of the association and retain their association memberships because the associations provide value. They provide networking opportunities, chapter meetings, ongoing education. They provide events and all sorts of other things for the members. And so this is not to replace them at all. So you need to belong to an association. You need to attend one of the big conferences every year because that adds to your education. So professional stager is continually raising the standard of their business practices and their knowledge. And so if you don't learn any more than what you did when you, let's say you took a class 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and then you never have learned anything else, and maybe you're running a great business, and it doesn't mean you're not knowledgeable, but the business advances, and there's things that we need to learn and be on top of and stay cutting edge, and you learn that at the conferences. And so that'll be one of the requirements. And then the fourth one will be continuing education. So Jana, if you click on that link, that will take you into the studio. So let's see here. Oh, she's trying to log in. She's asking about a camera. Okay. Yeah, it's a video. You need to be on your either your cell phone camera or your computer. So, all right. So the continuing education piece, that's where I was. So that will be, it's not like you're coming back to repeat a class or repeating a course you took in the past. This will be education developed every year about the real estate industry and how it impacts us in the staging industry, things we need to know about, and then also trends in the staging industry. So colors and styles and expectations of clients. And so, what we don't want is, to be living in the past. I still see what I call vignette staging here in my market in Denver. And it's not a stager doing it. I'm sure it's a real estate agent thinking this is staging, but they'll throw like a pillow on the floor in front of a fireplace with the throw and put some things on the mantle and go staged. No. Or they'll put like games on the floor in a kid's bedroom with like a little tiny footstool and a stuffed animal. And that's not staging. That just looks ridiculous. And I will say, gosh, I'm going into my 18th year. So when I got started in staging, we did do vignette staging. We would put little groupings, and I never put pillows on the floor and called it a day. That never happened. But you would use smaller groupings of furniture and even prop furniture in order to depict what the purpose of a room was. Well, that was almost 20 years ago. So the industry certainly has advanced, and we want to make sure that we're elevating the professional standards, because my gosh, if that's what buyers think that we do, or sellers, think that we do, or our clients or end users, that we just bring some accessories and plop them on a floor, no wonder they think they should only pay $500 for staging. And so that's up to us to educate them. So the 4 criteria will be, again, education, membership in an association, attendance in a conference annually, and also continuing education annually. And so there will be a fee to join. It won't be exorbitant. We understand people have their businesses to run. They belong to an association already. So this will be another piece. And so, but it's important. And so I hope you all are understanding that the purpose behind all of this, again, is not to take away from associations. It's to add a layer of organization that can house. It can be like an umbrella that can unite the industry as a whole. Because for far too long, there's been an idea that there's a divide, and you can't go to this group and you can't belong to that group. And, I've heard this person's terrible and you don't want to talk to that person. And that's just, our industry just is not that big for people to be feeling that way. The real estate industry, there's over 2 million just in the US, 2 million real estate agents. Realtors, there's probably over 1 million, 1.2 million. How many stagers are there? Less than, I would say 5,000 maybe. And that's a guess. I don't know, because of I can tell by our association, the numbers. And, but the fact is we're in the, 5 digits, the single, 5 digits, 4 or 5,000 members versus over 1 million. And so our industry just is not that big that we should have factions and be fractured. And so this is a goal to help unite the industry under one umbrella organization. And the major associations, how will this thing operate? Well, there is a survey that we sent out. Oh, good. You're ready to join my broadcast. So let's see here. Where are you? Oh, I see you. Yay. Okay, let me get rid of this. Jana's here. Jana. That worked. Okay, it's counting down.
Yay! We made it. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My laptop was wanting to connect through a computer. So now we know.
Yeah, so BeLive is a little different. Yeah, BeLive is a little different. And yeah, so it's great. Well, welcome. So tell everybody who you are in case they don't know.
Yes, Jana here with HSRA, the Home Staging and Redesign Association. And, we're just happy to be part of this collaboration. We see such a value and benefit. One of the differences with HSRA is we're just business. We are ingrained. You can see behind me a big library just of business development, books, all of those things that really can help take our businesses to the next level. And we love that. That's what we thrive on.
Right. So they have kind of branded themselves the Business Builder Association. And we've sort of branded ourselves the Business Support Association, because iHouse has a lot more members. And, you get a course, and hopefully you get education, you start your business, you start growing along, and we offer a lot of opportunities for networking and ongoing education and wholesale tours and so forth. And then there's a point where you're like, your business grows to the point where you either have to turn business away, you start building a team and wanting to grow your business. And so they have done an amazing job, HSRA, in putting together packages and modules and education to advance your business and build it professionally. And Jana, she's sort of like my hero, because she's one of only a few people I know that worked her way out of her business and still is involved, but not having to run the day to day. She's got a great team in place, and you said it took you like five times to finally get out, right?
That's right. We failed 5 times. Finally, for the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years, we have been very successful, and I spend maybe 2 to 3 hours a week in Model My Home. So it's nice to be able to, focus on the association and focus on helping develop other businesses.
Right. And so we're happy to have this alignment with them. iHouse members can join HSRA and vice versa. And there's some benefits to membership. And so as we were sort of getting to know each other, this was a couple years ago, Mary Scally, excuse me, I was came back from Vienna. I was fighting off a cold, so it's kind of sitting here. Excuse me. Mary Scally kind of got us connected. So thank you, Mary. I love you. And so kind of started a conversation and realized that Jana and I both were kind of of the same mindset as far as how we run our associations, how we serve people, the heart for the industry, and what we saw was needed as far as standards and kind of uniting. And so then you come last year at this time was November of 2018. She and I really began the formal process of let's do something, because there's a lot of people that have intent and even things that have been written down, like this is what our goals are. But then it's really hard to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Because, we're running companies, running associations, we have families, but if you can get a team together, a powerhouse team that can make something happen, well, then you have something that can happen. So we started last year and started putting together standards and documents. And then in July, we got together in Las Vegas with our board leaders that were there. And because we saw a lot of them were going to be coming for the Vegas market. So I thought here's an opportunity to get together in person and actually have sort of a brainstorm introduction of this concept. And then from that, we had 2 additional phone call meetings, Jana and I, to keep pushing things along. So all 3 associations, the HSRA, IHOSP, and RISA, they were all included in the process to be part of this. And so we actually had a call yesterday with Courtney Schomburg from RISA, and Jana and I will be talking with their board in next week. So the reason for that is because there's some confusion about what the intent is. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have this call today with Jana. What are we doing? What is this all about? Aren't the associations already doing this for their members and the industry? And why do we need another organization? So when people ask you that, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. None of us want to be part of something more, and that's going to possibly be another investment. But we do realize that, each of our associations has its place with what it provides. But more needs to be done. And so, as you said, Jenny, I mean, when we can collaborate at a certain level, not one person is a member of all 3. It's very, very unlikely that they're going to be that. They're usually, you've got this section here, that section there. So, that's always been our heart. It's like, be part of everything because you're going to get something different. But now, whenever your leadership is starting to collaborate and kind of speak that same language on a high level, especially to the public, especially to the clients we serve, then that's where we can really, as you said, make a lot of ground. We can gain a lot of ground literally overnight because the industries are moving. They're, and I would love to say home staging is drastically moving forward, but what we're having really is a lot of confusion in the industry. And
Right.
unfortunately, it's confusion from the public. It's confusion from just all that they're bombarded with. Like, what is a professional home staging company? What do they look like? And how can I find them? And what are their baseline standards that they're agreeing to? And we want to be something that we don't want the government.
Uh-oh, we lost her. She'll come back in. We don't want the government interfering in our businesses. And so that's the other piece of this. So it's not just setting standards for the industry to enter the industry and how to operate a business and be considered professionals. And yes, we will probably do lifetime memberships. That's a great idea, Kevin. It's also for the external people looking at our industry. So we have members of the staging industry that have had the IRS, for example, come after and do an audit of their business and tell them that, for example, the service side of staging, which would be a consultation, or when we're sharing information with the client, that's a service. We're not bringing anything in. We're not moving anything around. That's even a hands-on staging. That's a service. We're not bringing product, right? Product is taxable usually. And so we're not doing that. But the IRS is now trying to say your service side is taxable. And it's really hard to fight a government entity like that by yourself. So you were getting into the government side of it, the regulators. So continue.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, we would love to kind of self regulate so that they don't come in and try to tell us who we are at a key level. That's, again, we don't want this to be something that is overtakes. We want to at least have a voice together to the public, and to just say, here's what you can expect when you hire a professional stager. And we feel like that we're stronger together.
Yes.
We can have our own initiatives. IHOS can have its own initiatives. RISA can as well. Our educators are out there trying to also train on standards, and so together we can have one united voice at that level, but still our behind the curtains, people can be part of what they need to be part of. And we say be part of everything, because you're going to get a ton of knowledge. You're going to get to meet new stagers and experienced stagers in all different associations. So it's all about our united front, and then
Yes.
behind the curtains, the support that you need when you need it.
Right. And then, the real estate industry is changing. You have iBuyers, iSellers, the whole online piece of it. How's that going to impact our industry? Being able to get to some of these high level real estate people and help educate them as well, so they don't dismiss staging or think it's not necessary, or the whole virtual staging piece of that. How many of us have staged a house that was virtually staged? Yes, because it
Right.
didn't sell. There's a reason for that. And so being able to educate that, don't try to shortcut. I feel like, I think I was talking about pricing. Everybody gets paid when the house sells. The realtor gets paid, the inspector gets paid, the seller gets their money, the appraiser gets paid, the lender gets paid, the title rep gets paid. Everybody gets paid. So why shouldn't the stager get paid and make a profit? Why are we the ones that are being squeezed or dismissed when, and this is not ego saying that, but the staging is what helps the house sell, because it creates that emotional connection for the buyer. And certainly the realtor does a great job. They have to market it and so forth. The staging plays a big piece in all of that. And in fact, it impacts the appraiser, it impacts the inspector. And they have said that in classes, that when the house looks and feels better, that makes an impression. So we need to educate the end users. Things like the AB5, which is in California, the whole independent contractor versus employee. If you go read that thing, which I have, and I've actually written to the legislator who put that out, they've excluded fishermen. They've excluded architects. They've excluded photographers. They excluded attorneys. Think about that. Oh, attorneys get excluded. They haven't even identified decorator, designer, stager. They weren't even identified on the list. And I don't know how that slipped through the cracks, but that's a big mistake. And so it's like almost like our industry is important, it's valid, but we don't even we're not even as good as a fisherman. That to me is a problem, right? So an organization like this could have a collective voice and work with some of these legislators and help protect our members, because we don't want people in these states thinking like, I can't have an independent contractor. Well, if it's under the exclusion rule, you got to be in compliant. If a photographer or a real estate agents are excluded, and so if they're setting their own hours and they're picking and choosing what projects they're going to do and so forth, there's a way to protect our members and make sure that they can be exempted from this law. And that law, it's only a matter of time to start marching across the country. And what's behind that law is money. I think they're really going after the Uber and Lyft drivers and these people that the states and the federal probably want their tax money, which is the bottom line. They want to keep track of people's income and have that paid in, because they feel probably independent contractors may not be declaring their income legitimately. So that's a legitimate concern, but it shouldn't be punitive to all the people that do run businesses and are operating and should have an option. So it's very hard to do that on your own. And
it absolutely is. And who has the time to do it, right? We're trying to run businesses here. It's enough for us to try to keep up with our receipts and taxes in itself, and now to have that stress and headache, we want to make sure that we at least have a collective voice, that we can, bind together and have resources available, so that whenever this does come, it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. We've
Absolutely.
been audited twice.
Yep.
And thank goodness we passed with flying colors. But, I had the people in place to do that audit. I didn't even have to worry about it, but many people don't. So to have, an organization that can kind of be that umbrella at a higher level more than what our associations are doing at the moment, I think is huge. It's
Yeah.
huge.
It's super beneficial. So people have asked, like, what will the structure look like? And so from the beginning, we wanted to have the three major associations have equal voice on the executive board level. And so RISA we're going to have a talk with them tomorrow. So we're not sure about their participation because at this point they have not opted to come along. I think there was some confusion about what we were doing. And so we had a call with Courtney Schomburg yesterday. Helen Bartlett was actually at the HSRA conference in November and came up after we shared about this. And so there's a lot of interest. And I just don't think the message was really being delivered clearly to their board of directors and their members. So our hope was to have the three larger associations represented on an executive board level. And then there would be an advisory board level that would have educators, other members of the different associations. We're even looking at a millennial section, like a demographic, making sure that they have a voice. So that would be the business advisory level. And then the third tier is what we kind of call the feet on the ground. These are all the influencers and people that are interested in what we're doing and want to help spread the word. And so because it's going to take a village to make this happen. And so there's already people that have shared they want to be part of this initiative. We have emailed you back. There was a survey that has gone out, and I'll share the link after this is over. I should have copied it, but I don't want to go out of my thing here to find it. This is a survey, and so basically asks for what areas of interest, how much time can you commit, how can you help? And so this is not paid. Jen and I are not being paid to do this. We put hundreds of hours in already. I've actually put money out, and so has she, to get domain names and develop a website. I've got tech people working on this. We've had to talk to an attorney to officially form the entity. And so that all takes resources. And at this point, this thing has not made any money. And it's not a money maker. I want you all to understand the money that's going to come into this will pay for the sites, the people that are members to be identified on the sites. There'll be my mind is dead. What do you call it? A directory.
Yes.
So people coming will know how to find the branding and the marketing that's going to go out. There will be travel involved for, board members to go to places like Inman, NAR conferences, to speak, to educate, to maybe even go to some of their larger real estate conferences and network and set up meetings with people that we need to get in front of. And that's all going to take money. So this is not something that people are going to be paid a salary, and be sitting back with a cigar in their mouth like a fat cat, sucking off the teat of the thing. That's not this at all. So, and it will be open, transparent as far as where the funds are going. I expect that we'll probably have a consultant of some sort initially that, it could be a business consultant, and to keep us on track. I could even see having an attorney on retainer for issues that members may have. So we're all kind of still in the formation mode. Jana did an amazing job with the best practices. So it's not only what the clients can expect in working with us, but it's also how we treat our fellow staging colleagues. Mm-hmm. There needs to be standards for that as well with ethics. One of the things in there, which is, I don't know how it's worded, but basically form your own opinions about people. Don't let other people tell you about how somebody is. Form your own opinion. And so you tell how you came up with this you adapted it from the NAR.
Yeah. So I'm now an official realtor. I've been for almost a year just for the subject matter expert. Now, side note that Model My Home is going to, be developing some realty. We've got some realty initiatives that we're going to be doing in 2020. However, I wanted to at least get my license and be a subject matter expert. And I did this in Nevada, had to sit through 2 days. Those of you that are a realtor, or I know you're married to one, Jenny, so you get the news, but I just sit there and go through all of the standards, the excellence, the best practices. And it was so timely because we had already known we were going to be, moving this direction. And believe me, I was taking notes, and because we are part of the real estate industry, and it's important for us to know what are their standards and what applies to our industry as well. And I think we get more respect, at an equal colleague level whenever we are now being able to say, you know what, these standards, some of those that apply are also our standards. So we went through, and I love the way that they broke it down. It's like duties owed to number one, clients and customers. So the difference between a client and a customer, right? A client is someone you hopefully it's a lifetime client. There's multiple transactions. A customer is kind of maybe a one and done. Um, and so for us as staging businesses, our clients are those investors, builders, agents that we work with ongoing. A customer might be a seller. It was just kind of a one thing. We don't treat them any differently, but you have duties owed to both. Or maybe your customer is not the seller that hired you, but it's their listing agent, right? They're not paying you, but they're also involved in that transaction or at least relationship. So what are your duties owed to both of them? What are your duties owed to the public? At a high level knowledge, and then realtor to realtor, right? So agent to agent. And so that's where we have stager to stager, professional stager to professional stager. We have duties owed to each other. So we really broke it down at that high level. And within those categories, we have several, duties owed. But again, it's not something to necessarily police and say, oh, you broke this duty. It's really one of that honor code, that honor system. Now, will we have issues that come up that we might need to get involved in? Possibly so, but it's more of making sure that the right people are joining this organization that see themselves as a professional stager, and that once at that level that realtor is, there's a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent.
Right. Yeah, a real estate agent passed a test, they can sell property. A realtor has joined NAR at the national, state, and local level, and they have additional education, code of ethics, higher standards of business practices. And so when we look at our industry, you might have the stager that doesn't have, and then there's the people that for sale by owner that don't use a realtor to sell a house. So maybe that's the stager that doesn't have a foundation yet. And then there's the stagers that maybe you've taken a class and you have some education. And then there'll be we didn't want to be stagor. We thought about, like realtor, stagor, but that's kind of the delineation. And so it's going to be definitely necessary as the business continues and the industry continues to grow and unfold. And so the duties owed and the best business practices is a huge part of this. And it's a lengthy document. It wasn't just like one page. And I took our IHOS code of ethics and started formulating some of that. And she did the best practices. And then we married the two and discussed those in Las Vegas and got feedback and then had to edit it. There's a lot that goes into this. And so that'll all be shared. And, people have been asking for standards. And it's not that, if you're a new person watching and you're like, I just got in the industry and we're not dissing people who are new. We want you to succeed. And certainly the people that are watching television and maybe they see someone's vehicle driving around. I mean, 3 of my team members in California, I staged their houses for sale. I love what you do. I want to get going. I sent them to a class. I'm going to go take the class. That showed me their level of commitment because I didn't have time to teach them everything I knew, and then they could get plugged in. So it's to help elevate the entire industry. And I really hope that people aren't feeling like we're creating a chasm or a divide on to be snotty or snobby, because that's not it at all. It's important that we do identify what a professional stager is, and somebody who's running a business. I mean, who knew? Like when I got started, my goal was to make $33,000. That's what I wanted to make because that's how much my husband was losing out of his base salary as a salesperson. They were hacking up by a third. So we made $100K base, took that away, and that was livable income. They're going to make it up in commission. So that was my goal. Can I make $33,000 in staging? And so I didn't know. I was never taught pricing. I was never taught, exactly how to go after projects and what to do. I just sort of did it in a market that staging did not exist. And so the first year I made $27,000. That was all with consultations and a few hands-on. There were no vacant houses being done. And then the next year everything tripled. So, I entered it without really knowing where this was going to go. And here I am almost 18 years later. My business has been in the strong 6 figures. And the reason it hasn't hit 7 is because to hit 7, you need to carry furniture and accessories and decor, you have to have the warehouse to kick you into that next level. And so we have just,
Which you have now.
I
That's
have that
so
now.
great.
I was up there yesterday and I was just like, my desk is gone. I go into the warehouse and I'm like, where are they? I call my daughter, I go, where's my desk? And when I was in Vienna, my desk got taken to a house. And there's like chairs on the floor that are
It
being assembled.
happens.
We're still in the process of getting everything set up, but that will move us into the next tier.
Yeah.
And but six figures, hefty six figures is impressive for a business that a lot of people still think is just a little hobby. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, and so and I know there's people that are in the industry that you don't want to have a big business. You just want to help a few people and do the thing. Please, at the very least, get some education on pricing, because you don't know how to price, and this is an industry where you don't work 40 hours a week like a job, so you're not paid hourly like that. You're paid by the project. So if you don't know and you're like, well, gosh, I made 20 bucks an hour in my job, so I'll pay myself 50. I'm gonna more than double my income. And you don't realize that you're actually leaving probably 50 to 60% on the table, because we're not paid like a job. We're paid according to the industry and the real estate industry and the price of properties and the expectations. That's a shame. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are in that boat. So we have to raise the standard. We have to educate the people that are using us. We have to help protect our members, and then the whole self-regulation. And so I do want to take a moment to also share that those of you that are, it doesn't matter what group you're part of, this is not a power play. This is not a money grab. It's we want to have everybody have an equal voice. And if people have been told things about me and you're watching this and you've never met me in person, or maybe you have and you formed an opinion about me, and on a personal level or whatever, move on, get past it, get me out of your head, give up the space I take in your head, because this is not about me. This is about the industry. And I am in the industry, and my heart is to serve others. And I would hate for anybody not to take part in this just because of something you heard, or something that happened 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or some comment on social media that, it's just, don't let that define that person forever and ever, or restrict you from participating. And so, I know that I'm vocal and I put myself out there. And so I'm the first one to say, yes, I know I probably have, offended people over time, but this is not about that. And so those of you that might be watching or listening or hear about it down the road, don't let that stand in your way. And I've never heard anything bad about Jana, that
Oh well, anytime I think leadership, they're easy targets, and you being a leader, that's the thing, So I definitely want people to hear our hearts in this. We want to make sure that we are protecting this industry and protecting those professional staging companies that are in this industry that want this to be not a hobby, but their lifeline. Right? It is their way to serve. It's a way to make sure that we are able to be in business tomorrow. And
right,
as industry changes, not only real estate but our industry, we've had all of this influx of what we may consider not hobbyist. And so if we're not going to bind together and set anything aside that might have been in the past, we've got to grow and we've got to move forward together and have a united front. I feel like unity is really needs, that's the word. We are stronger together
yes,
as we move forward and can have one voice. And I know probably people are out there, if you're the stager, going, well, is this going to cost me money? Well, it will be a small investment annually. And as Jenny said, that investment then is going to now, hopefully we can turn that one, small investment together. We'll be investing, our companies will be investing as well. We're going to be members. And so together we're going to be able, it's like loaves and fishes. It can just multiply into the work that needs to be done, getting in front of the right people, being able to give you guys not only the education that you're receiving initially, not only your associations, that what they're doing, but also that continuing education at a next level. So it will be an investment that you're getting things back for, not just throwing money to something.
right,
People will immediately be able to know that you're part of this organization. And hopefully the goal is the realtors will be able to know, because, right now, none of us are at Inman as far as our associations, like being able to have a huge presence. And it's hard to do. It would be hard for HSRA to get a $10,000 booth. And not that, and maybe that organization has a little bit more of leeway working with their elite level to be able to say, we want the boost. We want to be able to spread the word. We want to be able to people to find us and know the difference at a high level. Whenever you're hire a pro, right? Hire the pro.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of work that we're going to be doing. The I guess you could say leadership level, the boots on the ground are going to be doing, because if we have all these little fires going on, but we need to build one big fire together, at least so people can notice us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So those of you that are interested in being part of the initiative, the formation and so forth, we're moving forward. And so there's a Facebook page. You could actually email Jana or myself. I'll put our emails up here. I haven't got my PSPMO one set up yet. So Jenny. And then which one do you want to use? Jana at?
Yeah, I've got several. Probably Jana at myhsra.com works well. Jana at myhsra.com if you guys are watching and listening.
Yeah, so I posted those. And so, and then I can send the survey out. If you're interested, just email us. We can send that to you. It's also on social media, different pages that we posted. We do have a group for the PSPMO for the people, the feet on the ground. And then there's the executive level has a workplace for us to be able to communicate. So, work is being done. Our goal is to officially launch this by the first of the year. And again, inclusive. We want the different leaders in the associations and so forth involved. If you're a business owner and you're part of a group and you're hearing like, don't be part of this or that, at the end of the day, you run your own company. So make a decision that's best for your company, and don't let, if someone's telling you not to do something, it's going to be beneficial, I would question that. Again, our intent is not to diminish any of the associations or the leaders or what they're doing. It's basically to create this like United Nations umbrella. And it's not going to just be for the US or North America or Canada. This will be a global, it'll have global impact. And I know this from talking to the leaders last week. And so that's pretty exciting to be part of something that, can impact that many people. But it has to start somewhere. And I feel like there's a saying where two or more are gathered, biblical saying. And I feel like where you have me trying to do it by myself isn't going to happen. Jana, as much as she's able to do isn't going to happen. Other people, and I know Patricia Marie Kelly put something out on social media that she's been working on some stuff too. A lot of people have been thinking about this, but nothing's been done. And so now's the time to come together. Mm-hmm. And we welcome everybody who wants to be part of this and have input and raise the standard. We've got a lot of really great people already on board. And so if you would like to be part of that, just let us know. And then as soon as we have everything fleshed out, of course, there'll be announcements that'll go out. You'll know exactly how to join, what that will mean, and so forth. So anyway.
Good stuff. I'm just ready to fast track. We can, like you said, we can all try to do our own individual things, but as we're stronger together, we can literally expedite this. We can collapse time because real estate, as I said, that industry is changing overnight. And
really
I don't
is.
want us to own a bunch of blockbusters because we haven't had the right voice as a collaborative voice in unison together on a next level. So I think we can definitely accomplish more together.
Absolutely. Stronger together. I love that hashtag.
Yes.
Stronger together, and then hashtag raise the standard.
Right.
So those are our messages for you. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to either one of us. And I hope our call tomorrow goes great. I'm looking, or next week, next Wednesday, we'll be on the call with recent board members. So hopefully that will go well. And, but we are moving forward. And if you want to get involved, just let us know. So otherwise, you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks, Jana, for being with me.
All right. Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.